There is one condition that you need to meet in order for the universe to give you anything that you ask of it. Yes, the universe has conditions and you've not been meeting them. And in the literal sense, it's literally just one, not 5, not 10. There are principles and endearing laws, but there's one underlying condition that you need to meet. Meet this condition and everything that you want. Everything, everyone, that literally, I'm talking anything that you want. No limits, no specifications. Anything that you want will be given to you by the universe, but only if you meet this one condition. First, let's start with the understanding of vibration. You've heard a lot of the term of vibration in the field of manifestation and all these things, but maybe you don't have a clear understanding. I'm gonna put it in the simplest way. Vibration is the invisible energy that you send out to the universe. Every human being has an invisible energy field around them, what we like to call the aura. It explains why people enter rooms and you feel them. Someone might be 50 feet away from you, but you will feel their presence. It's because they have an energy field around them. And the thing with people who are trying to manifest is they are so conscious of reading affirmations and listening to all this high frequency vibration music, but they are not focusing on raising their vibration. Because the moment you have a desire, that desire has a vibration of itself. Okay, that desire has a vibration of itself. It's not an individual entity, but it does have an individual vibration in of itself. And you, while trying to manifest this thing, have an individual vibration of yourself. Okay, so when you're trying to manifest something and you're asking God, please give this thing to me, and nothing seems to happening, it's because you've not met this one condition. And what is it? The one condition that the universe needs you to meet in order for you to get every single thing you need is vibratory alignment. Vibratory alignment is the one condition. Because you can say you want to manifest anything that you want, but are you the vibratory alignment of that thing that you want? Are you the vibratory alignment? I know you've never thought of it this way, but think about this. This is something that I had to literally struggle with. I used to try to manifest things and situations, but it never used to work until I understood that one condition, vibratory alignment. And I'm going to give it to you in a more specific term because I know you guys want details, and I'm going to give it to you. Well, the moment you desire something, desire is simply directed attention. That is all it is. Desire is directed attention. And the moment you direct your attention at something, you are either desiring it or you are repelling it. Because that is why there are some things that you will love and there are some things that you will hate. The source of both the hate and the love is one thing, directed attention, which is actually energy in motion. But the moment you want something, the moment you do not want something, either way, you are creating beams, okay? You're creating beams. When you do not want something, when you are feeling resistance towards something, you are creating pressure beams, okay? Pressure beams. And these pressure beams create longer distance between you and that thing which you really, really hate. And this distance of the beam is what causes pressure. That is why when you're in a place you don't like, when you're with people you don't like, when you're doing things you don't like, you have a strong inner feeling to run. Your body feels like it's being pressured, like it's being squeezed, and you want to get out of there. That is why you get into places where you're not comfortable and you're automatically saying, I just have a feeling like I need to get out of here. I just have to get out of here immediately. It's because of the pressure beams being generated as a result of you not wanting something. And opposite to that, law of polarity. When you want something, you're creating attractor beams. These attractor beams shorten the distance between you and that thing that you desire, or that person, or that place. And that is why you feel a pull, okay? That is why you feel an innate pull to go to that place, to go to that person, to do that thing. It's because the distance has been shortened, because you've created attractor beams. With this being the case, you hate something, you create pressure beams, that's feeling pressure. You love something, you create attractor beams, that's feeling pull. That is why you say you want this thing. You feel like you love this thing. You don't love that thing. You're simply being pulled towards it by the attractor beams. It's the only way you're gonna close this gap. Okay? Understand that your desires have an individual vibration of themselves. You have an individual vibration of yourself. The only way to close this gap is to be in vibratory alignment with that thing, place, person that you want. And the tricky part with this condition, a lot of people do not meet this condition when it comes to manifestation. And that is why their desires are rarely ever met. They do not know how to meet this condition. Or maybe they don't know that this condition exists, okay? That's why I need you to share this video to as many people as you can, because a lot of people need to get to this knowledge before they continue struggling in that life that they've been struggling in, okay? So there's a gap between you and your desire. There's a gap between you and your desire. And the only way to get into vibratory alignment is to close this desire, to be one with your desire. You've heard people say this, but you don't understand. I'm going to help you understand. How to be one with your desire is to detach from your physical reality and to move into imagination. Move into imagination, because your desire exists in your mind. Your desire exists in your mind. And the only way to close this vibratory distance is to actually go back to where your desire is, in your mind. Understand that the mind is the cause, okay? Consciousness is the cause of all reality. Consciousness is the cause of all reality. And to be in vibratory alignment with your desire means to go back to the source of that desire, consciousness. Because if you say that you're trying to get into vibratory alignment from a physical point of view, you will struggle and you will experience a lot of doubt, which will sabotage your manifestation. So you have to go to imagination, because in imagination there is no limitation, there is no control, there is no what is possible and what is not. What you conceive is what you get, okay? So you go back to imagination. And by going back to imagination, you are going to be able to conceptualize your desire so intimately and in such a way that it will come to be. It will come to be, because your desire is knocking on the door of your consciousness and it wants you to open the door. But are you going to open the door? Opening the door of your consciousness to your desire means being in vibratory alignment with it. And if you're not in vibratory alignment with it, nothing is going to change. On terms of vibratory alignment, let's look at inertia. Let's look at, I don't know what this concept is called. Let's look at inertia, okay? You have your desire and then there's you, okay? So you have your conception and you are the conceiver. To close this, you have to understand that between you and your desire, one will always have a stronger state. One will always have a stronger level of vibration. And the reason you've not been able to manifest by not meeting this condition is because when you don't get into vibratory alignment with your desire will always have a stronger state of vibration, and you will never be able to achieve it because you will not be able to reach it. So in order to be able to be in vibratory alignment with your desire, you have to be in a stronger state than your desire. Basically emit a stronger vibration than your desire. Let's say you've been making, like, I don't know, roughly an estimate of around like 40k per month. Let's say you've been making 40k per month. And you have so many bills and you have so many things to work on, and you're confused and you feel stressed and you feel like there's not enough money, and you feel like maybe 100k per month is what is going to solve your problems. But you really don't know how to bridge this gap. You feel like it's there, you know you can get it, but you just don't know how. How are you going to get into vibratory alignment with this desire of going from 40k per month to 100k per month? It is adopting a higher state. What do I mean by a higher state? First of all, take your desire off the pedestal. I know it's crazy, because why would I take my desire off the pedestal when it is exactly what I want? So shouldn't I pedestalize it? No, you should not pedestalize your desire. You should pedestalize your creating abilities. Put your creative powers on a pedestal, not the desire. Because the moment you give the desire an upper hand, it will automatically seem so impossible to reach. You will constantly feel like you're trying to go for something that is not possible. But when you put your creative powers on a pedestal, automatically you're operating from a point of, I know I can get this thing because I am. Remember in a past video I talked about I am being the door to open, to help you, and to help you get to everything that you want to experience. If you haven't watched that video, go make sure you go watch it. Put your creative powers on a pedestal, not your desire. Once you put your creative powers on a pedestal, the next thing you need to do is to detach from all need to find a means to its manifestation. Understand that a desire will always have a means of its execution, independent of your thinking, independent of your tactical, independent of your strategizing, okay? A desire will always have a means of manifestation by itself, because the subconscious will always have a means of expressing what is impressed upon it. Once again, in another past video I talked about reprogramming your subconscious mind. If you haven't watched it, pause here, go watch that first, because you won't understand what I'm about to say. The subconscious mind will always find a way of expressing what is impressed upon it. This being the case, you have to impress upon the subconscious mind that this thing that you want is already yours, and you can only do that by pedestalizing your creative powers, not the desire itself. A lot of you have been putting your desires on a pedestal and be like, oh, this thing is so big, this person is so special, this place is so hard to get to, people don't get here, people don't get them, people don't get this. And that is why you've not been getting it, because the universe has only one condition: vibratory alignment. That is it. You just need to be in vibratory alignment with your desire, okay? So once you pedestalize your creative powers, as I've said, let go of all need to strategize and to find a way of its manifestation. Like I've said, desire will always find its own way of manifestation. All you have to do is identify your desire, be very specific, and let the subconscious do the work. Let the creative womb of the universe bring to you what you want, because it is not by the power of man that things come, but by the power of God. And God has made man blind to the inner workings of the mind. That is why you will never be able to understand how manifestation truly works. You can only find ways of using it to your advantage. Okay? So once you have let the subconscious take control, I need you to put together a scenery. A scenery, okay? I don't know how you're gonna do this. I don't really care. By the aid of music, by the aid of images, by the aid of affirmations, whatever it is that you will use, put together a scenery, a scene that indicates the manifestation has already been met. Not a scene of the manifestation. There's a difference. Not a scene of the manifestation, but a scene that indicates the manifestation has already been met. Okay? So in this case, we were saying you wanted to go from 40K per month to 100K. What action will you be taking that will indicate that that desire has already been met? Will it be to go shopping? Will it be to call your mom and tell her your salary has been raised? Will it be to call your spouse, your partner? Will it be to pray? Will it be to dance? The immediate action that comes to mind when you think of the desire being met, that is the action that you're supposed to focus on. Because once you focus on the action that indicates manifestation of the desire, you automatically have shifted. You've shifted realities imaginatively from the present of 40K to 100K. And considering the time buffer that exists on the physical reality, it will take some time for the physical reality to adjust, but inevitably it will adjust, because your desire is an inevitability that the reality cannot help but manifest, because the physical reality will always be witness to your inner workings. So focus on an action that you will take upon manifestation of that desire. So let's say in this case, once you've gotten to 100K, you're gonna call your mom. You're gonna call your mom and you're gonna be like, Mom, I've made 100K, my boss raised my salary, whatever it is that will bring you this 100K. You're gonna call and you're gonna tell your mom. Now, once you're focusing on this action that indicates manifestation of the desire, I want you to tap into the feeling related to that action, because the basis of this action is to actually induce feeling. And once you've induced feeling, you've communicated to the universe, because the universe will always only give you what you feel, not what you want. That is why I'm telling you the one single condition is vibratory alignment. Vibratory alignment is the one condition you need to meet. And I'm giving you people gold. I'm giving you people gold though. Okay? So you have to induce feeling, and the only way to induce feeling is to enact this scene in your mind. And don't think from this scene. Don't think of this scene. Okay? Think from it. Think from it. There's a difference between envisioning and intentional manifestation. When you say, oh, I'm envisioning my future, you're sitting back and you're looking at your higher self from a third person point of view, as if your higher self is an individual who is separate from you. So you're observing them live the life, you're observing them do the thing, you're observing them have the thing. But to think of this thing is to literally think as your higher self. So you're not looking at your higher self from a third person point of view. You're seeing your higher self as you. You're seeing directly with their eyes, you're hearing with their ears, you're thinking with their mind, you're moving with their body, you're feeling the sensations. You are feeling every single minute sensation that they are feeling. That is what it means to think from the act. So I want you to see yourself doing this thing. I want you to see yourself picking the phone. And you have to be so imaginative, and you have to be so real. Because the moment you can enact reality sensation to an imaginative act, it automatically manifests that fact. That was a bar. Write that down. Write that down. The moment you attach reality sensation to an imaginary act, it automatically manifests as fact. Okay? So you have to see that, and you have to see that action, and you have to literally abandon yourself to this action. Abandon yourself in ways you've never abandoned yourself before. Because your desire is God. You have to abandon yourself to this desire. Once you are sure you have enacted this act in your mind so vividly and with such an intense passion, you are gonna feel a sense of calm. This is your sign that your manifestation is set to come. You are gonna feel a sense of calm. You are gonna enter the rest of God. Okay? Look at all the things that you've tried to manifest in the past. The only things that have only ever come are things whose manifestations followed rest, mental peace. If anything, you even forgot about that manifestation's existence. And then later on, something just happened, and then you sat back and you were like, wait, is this not something I manifested in the past? Did I not write this down? Did I not talk about this? Did I not envision this? So the sign that this manifestation is already set in place is that you will enter the rest of God. You will feel a sense of peace. You will feel a sense of calm, and you will feel a sense of assurity. Because faith is knowledge. Faith is knowledge. The moment you are moving from faith, and I'm not saying this in like a priestly way, I'm not trying to preach, I'm literally telling you the secrets of the universe. Faith is knowledge, because faith is the material that will clothe imagination into reality. Faith is the material that will clothe imagination into reality. That's a bar. Write that down. In the Bible, it is said that even the faith of a mustard seed can move a mountain. Esoteric meaning, not faith, not small faith the size of a mustard seed, but wholesome faith. Wholesome faith will move mountains. And what are these mountains? Your problems, your needs, your wants, your desires, your fears. Faith will literally eradicate anything you don't want, and it will literally bring everything that you want, because faith is knowledge, and knowledge is the wisdom of God. I said what I said. I said what I said. So you have to follow every single thing that I've talked about in this video, because this is the one condition that the universe has. Nothing else. You don't need to pray. You don't need to get on your knees. You don't need to scream. You don't need to write all these things down. Those are secondary accompaniments to the manifestation. But the primary condition that you need to meet is vibratory alignment. Vibratory alignment. I've been able to manifest things in my life. I've been able to become the person that I am, and I've been able to shift geographical locations because I literally met this one condition. It's just one. It's just one. But the funny thing is, it is one, but it will not be met by many, because human beings are so intent on being so complex. Simplicity is the best form of sophistication. Simplicity is the best form of sophistication. If you've gotten to the end of this video, you're a real one. You're a real one. And as we always say when we finish, as above, so below. If you know, you know.